Beautiful brothers and sisters, Gia Ariati here. We are doing an energy reading for the present moment that's been and will be cycling for the next 2 to 3, 4 weeks, depending on which wave or ripple you're on. So you might be really starting to feel it. It's been around for a little while and it's been in the peripheries, but it's really in the loud, the forefront, and the energetics there are starting to bring up some pretty common tendencies for our soul development and our soul growth. So if you haven't listened to one of my transmissions before, to any of my energy readings, I am the oracle for the 144. I'm of sound heart and sound mind, and I am here to assist those to awaken to their true self, to walk the path of their mission, their assignment, and to assist in soul evolution through universal consciousness, the law of one, and that of the direct channel transmissions. So what we're looking at right now is a really, really, really uncomfortable point of the final threads and sheds that are being asked of us in a completion cycle. Now, because this is a big collective dissipation of the shadow, or a big collective movement of death and rebirth, really, or transition is a good word for it, is that we're going through a magnetization of what this experience is, because it's not just a individual rebirth cycle. We're in a big shedding of the final threads of the old identity and old self, whilst we transition into the new energy of the movement, the momentum, and the pathway forward. And so what's taking place at the moment is really uncomfortable. And it's even showing up here on this live right here, right now, which is hilarious. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. So to give an example of this, the message is, don't stop, keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Now, how I can explain what this might show up as is that you perhaps have been guided over the last 12 to 18 months to build something, to grow something. Maybe you've been focusing on your own purification process. Maybe you've been focusing on a specific relationship. Maybe it's been about launching a business. Maybe it's been about moving. Maybe there's something that you've been working towards for 12 to 18 months, and you've been building, you've been shedding what's in the way, you've been calibrating out, and you're getting to a point where you're looking around and you're like, it's still not happening. It's still not here. It's still not changing. What is going on? And there has been a decline in your ability to be able to receive or progress or transform. So if we look at this for me, and I can use myself as a great example right now, because I was sitting and just had done some work in relation to an integration course that me and my beloved are working towards giving for those that have gone through big, rapid, enlightening processes and transformation. And how do you become actually integrated and embodied in all of those teaching? How do you not just walk the talk, but talk the walk? And that process has been something that we're building towards and bringing forward. But it does mean it's an additional offering. It does mean it's an additional income stream. It does mean that it has an additional focus and a more workload. And if you look at me for the example, I'm going, well, it doesn't make sense to be doing this right now. Like, from the logical side of things, I've been building a mystery school that got pushed forward 3 months for its start date. So if you were interested in Purity of Isis, it starts in May on the 14th now, instead of February the 14th, based on collective energy. People are just not ready. I am aware that we're all going through big, big things, but people are not ready to receive new information. People are not ready for the next step. People are not ready to unlock the next layer. Where actually, in a lot of keep going, it's time to complete. It's kind of like the energy that you're experiencing right now in the form of, when you get to the end of a creative project and you're like, I've only got, maybe it's a book. You've only got like one chapter to go, and you're like, oh, it feels like it's taking forever. And you're like, I'm so close, but I'm losing all of my inspiration. I already know the end. Now I have to write the end down, right? So there's this like creative block. There's this awareness if like you're the last legs of the race, right? You get exhausted, fatigued. So there's a level of boredom that's coming up in relation to this last shed. And God's message is there's nothing to clear. There's nothing to change. There's nothing wrong. Okay. Like, are you hearing me? You don't have to clear anything. You don't have to heal anything. You don't have to change anything, depending on where you are on your journey, of course. The shed itself is actually the recommitment and the reconnection, and it's the keep going. So if you are going through a big dissension cycle, then it might be that last descent into the darkness, which is the just keep going, just keep going. If you are creating something, then and you're like, nothing's really moving, nothing's changing. I've put all my time, all my energy, all my resources into this, and I'm not getting the revenue, I'm not getting the clients, I'm not getting the exposure, I'm not getting that feedback. It's because at the moment we're in this cycle where we are actually producing a foundation based on the clarity. So if you look at it from the place of you've been building a beautiful creative project or an experience, and it's not quite finished yet. So because it's not finished, you're actually not seeing the gold or the gift at the end of it. And this can come in so many different forms. You might have been really working on healing yourself, and suddenly you're finding yourself in old identities or different elements. And it's not because it's there to prevent you. It's there because there's like the final moments of just hold out. It's kind of like what they say in business of like, don't give up because you're just about to receive success, right? So it's that energy in wherever you're wanting to give up, where you're like, this isn't working. It might be a relationship. You might be like, I really just don't think that I have the energy to put into this anymore, right? It's that kind of, you're no longer upset, you're no longer hurting, you're no longer worried, you're no longer feeling anxiety. Majority of the time, it's kind of just like, I don't know if I care anymore, right? That kind of feeling is coming up in relation to, I don't know if I want to keep pushing forward. Do I really want to do this business? Do I really want this relationship? What does this book even mean to me? This painting, yeah, I thought it inspired me, but now I've looked at it for 79 hours. I'm like not really sure that I even like the painting, right? So this is all of the things that are coming up, and it's all of the things that have come up to actually be moved through. But the thing that's being asked of us at the moment is, because this is such a collective shed, a collective transformation, instead of looking at the, oh, I'm just going to try and learn to love the painting again, it's actually a very different energy. The energy that's going to help us move through as a collective is, I don't care if I like the painting or not, I'm going to finish the painting. Right? So it's this just keep going, just keep going. If you push yourself through, and this is where spirituality can be a bit of a lie, is that not everything is surrender. Right now, we need to push. We need the momentum. We need to crown the new birth. This is where the transition is happening. Now, if you don't understand transition energy, what that means is that you get to a death point and a life point simultaneously. And it's very turbulent in that energy. It's super uncomfortable. And we're in that shed horse, if we use right now as the collective landscape, is that you're shedding and you're dying and you're deconstructing and that's taking place. but this new frequency is coming in, and there's a crossover point. There's a lot of catalysts that are happening, and there's catalysts that are getting to the point of like, no more. No, it doesn't matter what lens you're in, right? It might be you have no more chances with me. It might be I have no more finances left. It might be I have no more patience. I have no more energy to even, and it's okay. You think you have no more, but you do. What's that last little gas in the tank that you can get out? What's that last little push? What's that little bit more that you can go, I'm going to reserve this and I'm going to place it and prioritize it. And I'm going to make sure that I focus on exactly what it is that I need to push through, move through, and bring into finalization, because that's what it is. It's finalizing. You're finalizing whatever it is that you've embarked upon. You're finalizing the structures, the foundations. You're finalizing the healing. You're finalizing the transformation. You're finalizing the purification. Each one of us are doing a different finalization process, but we're all finalizing. So as you're hearing this and you're going, yeah, okay, what is it that I'm finalizing? That I'm like, I can't be fucked anymore, right? I'm tired. This has sucked. And I mean, for most of us that are on this path together, most of us that are actually identifying with some level of the 144 or the bringers of change, this has been a path that it's kind of like, is it changing? Is it going to change? Feels a little like, oh, I've done everything my guides told me. I listened to all of the intuitive guidance. I followed my heart. I've walked the path. What's happening, right? That's where you start to question. And this is where you got to lean in on faith. And the answer is going to be keep going, keep going, keep going. You've got this. Keep going. And so what you might be experiencing is that point where the negative stories come up. So the inner criticism, the elements of the psyche that go, you can't do this, you can't change, you can't build success, you can't have a happy relationship, you can't have a happy family, you can't move overseas. All of those, you can't. You're not good enough to do this. Or you really haven't changed. That narrative in whatever way for you as an individual is going to start running. And it's been quite interesting for me. I had a call this morning on our New Earthers call, and we had a channel, and it was a channel for willpower. And willpower being, what was your intention? What's the discipline? And how does that create will and power for your purpose? And it was a really beautiful transmission. But right in the middle of it, I went into a moment where I just wanted to burst into tears in my own, I don't want to channel right now. I want to give up. That's literally the feeling that came through for me. I was like, I'm too tired to keep showing up and channeling. Like, I'm too tired. My body is not healing. This journey has been too long. Like, I can feel exactly what happened in that split second. Like, I felt it come up and I was like, middle of the channel, redirect. I did some light language and I re-anchored and I kept moving and I kept going and I kept going. And it was a beautiful, beautiful transmission, indirect channel, which does take a lot more of my energy, a lot more of my bandwidth, a lot more of my capability, because I'm channeling such high frequencies that there aren't many human beings on this planet that are helping to hold and support these transmissions. And so it does become a lot on the body. And there are those elements of the human that go, I can't do it anymore. Yes, you can. Keep going, right? So it's kind of like if you've ever taken a kid up a mountain and they're like, my legs hurt, I don't want to, and you're like, you can do it, come on. it's that. It's like, you know that the mountain is going to give you this most beautiful view, and there might be a waterfall up there. And if you just get them up there and you encourage them to get up there, they're going to have this amazing, like, wow moment. And you might have to piggyback them, and you might have to, like, help them and hold their hand and go slower and stop and breathe. But you keep going, because this is like the peak. This is the point where everything that you've been working towards, no matter where it is that you've been doing it, that peak, you can't see it until you get there. Just like a mountain, you don't see the view until you're right on the edge of the view. You don't realize until that clearing presents itself. And we are in that point of those final legs, and your inner critic is going to come up. So what do you do when you start to hear that? You treat yourself like that child, and you go, yeah, you can keep doing it. Or like I did in my channel, it was like, you're not bursting into tears in the middle of a transmission. Keep going. You encourage yourself. You recognize you've worked hard. You've listened to your intuition. You've done the healing work. You've kept showing up for yourself. Why would you not be rewarded at the end? Like, if we look at it logically, people that put consistent work and effort in over and over and over, even if it doesn't look like things are changing, what happens is at one point, everything clicks into place and your whole reality shifts, and it shifts quick. Now, I might not be in that as well, because I'm with you guys. I'm in the same point where I'm like, I was sitting before this going, all right, where's the next, like, what do I do next? Which is weird for me. Normally I get very clear directive, go here, do this, do this, do this. This initiation has given me a lot of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right? But I have been also knowing exactly what I'm doing at the same time. It's just been presenting a different way of me not doing it from the intellectual side of, and more from the place of presence. And this moment of like, what do I do next with myself? Like, where am I focusing and prioritizing my energy? And I just sat with God, and it was just keep going. And I was like, oh, that's the message. Because I knew you guys here at YouTube needed this. I knew that the 144 needed this energy reading. I knew that you needed it as much as I needed it. I just didn't know what the message was. And so I'm sitting there being like, help. And that is what's happening. So what happens if we don't keep going? So the challenge with these initiations is, if you don't keep going, you have to go all the way back down the mountain, and you didn't get to the top, which means that you don't actually get to receive the same level of what you might consider the reward or the outcome or the beauty of the experience. Yeah, you definitely had some endurance, you built some strength, you built some gifts and abilities. But if you really want to receive, you have to either choose. If you don't keep going, you're going back down the mountain, which means you're going to have to climb that mountain again at some point. You might decide to go back to the village or go for a swim or go hang out in the meadow and pick flowers. But the thing is that if you want the thing that you've been working towards and you give up shortfall, you're going to have to climb that mountain again. You'll climb it at a different time, in a slightly different perspective, but you're still going to meet the same hurdles, the same challenges, the same moments, the same giving up, the same pushing forward, the same surrendering, the same deconstruction, the same reconstruction. All of that will happen because that's what initiations are. And this is a mass collective initiation. And right now, if you look at it from what's happening on the world, we have the counterpole that don't want us to get to the top of the mountain, right? It's you could see it maybe as like the opposing tribe that are at the bottom of the mountain shooting spears so that you stop. There is this counter force at the moment, and it is strong, and it's going to filter into any of the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities that you have right now. Like if you have pockets of unseen elements of consciousness, shadows, wounds, attachments, it's going to latch in, and it's going to create that point of destabilization, disconnection, and questioning. If you're questioning yourself during this time, you're questioning, is it worth it? You're questioning, do I keep going? You're questioning, is there really anything at the top of the mountain? Maybe it's just trees. You're questioning. If you question yourself, that gives room for doubt. Room for doubt means that you won't have the strength to just keep going to get to the reward at the end of this. So my recommendation is, over this period of time, and I know it's very hard for us as truth seekers, as beings of light that come here and decide to question our reality, to awaken to our true nature, is, can you get to a point in this period where you stop questioning why you're walking the path you're walking, why you're guided to create the thing that you're creating? Maybe you launch it. I've got for anyone who does want to, this hasn't happened to me in, I would say probably, it would have to be close to 7 years in numbers. I have a Recoding Wealth Creation, Magnetizing Money event tomorrow at 9 a.m. Brisbane Standard Time. You can find it in my link tree or on my social media. And this is a donation-based 90-minute Kundalini session. We go through Kundalini recalibration. We bring in the frequency of money. We work on the different trinities that create money and magnetize money into our life. And then we use it to implement into our life, whether it's into our business, whether it's into our professional career, whether it's into our frameworks or our embodiment, moving forward, right? Direction. And I have one person that signed up. Now that for me is like, wow, what is going on, God? Like this is new for me. And I've done all of the things you've asked me to. I've created and launched all of the programs. I've built all the back end. I'm moving into, sales campaigns and all different things at a level. I keep showing up here. I keep showing up for my family. I keep showing up for my partner. And in such a high level of integrity that to my logical brain, it's like, it doesn't make sense. I haven't missed anything, right? I haven't missed anything. I haven't taken a wrong turn. I'm on my highest timeline. I'm doing all the things. I'm listening. I'm implementing. I'm actioning. So why is there one person on my call tomorrow? Doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going, because that's the message. Just keep going. Just keep going. I don't know why. I don't need to know why. And that's where we need to take away the question. During this period of time, as you're leaving the shed and you're moving into the new life, don't question why you're rebirthing, how to rebirth, how to become anew. Don't question where it is you're going. I know it's so counterintuitive to what we normally talk about. When you're questioning, I want you to question so that you're not questioning from a point of gaining more awareness, gaining more insight. I don't want you to question from the inner. If you're questioning, it's to create you to move further. So the question needs to be something that has a very specific phrasing that will create a direction and a momentum and a movement forward for you so that you can keep going. So use your questions, use your journaling, but use it very strategically, because you're wanting to stay with this empowerment, this encouragement, this you've got this charge, because you're depleted. I'm depleted. The collective's depleted. We are depleted. Really, that's what birth is. And the only way that I can really, truly reference it is, when you labor a child, and right at those ends of those crowning, moments, you don't know if you can do the last few pushes. because every part of your body has started to run out of energy. Your mind has fatigued. You don't know whether you trust your body anymore. Now, some of us are very in tune, and that might have been our first labors or our second, and we might have started to master the process. But that is the thing. It's like you don't know. You don't know if you're even going to have a baby that comes out alive, right? You don't know how it's going to feel, what it's going to look like. You don't know, is it going to be healthy? All the things. In those moments, those last few pushes, you question if you even want to have a baby. You question if you're going to stay alive. You think for most of us that have had some kind of laboring experience, there has been a question of, can I survive this? And that's what's taking place. It's that level of you moving through the crowning of this experience, the shed, which creates the new life. And then guess what? You still got to go through the afterbirth, right? The placenta still has to leave. So you're going to be tired. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to have spurts of energy. You're going to have like big pushes that come through and go, yeah, you've got this. You're aligned. And then you're going to feel like, is anything really moving? Is anything really changing? Is it coming? So being aware of everything here, I want to give you a couple of, I guess, warnings. Warnings in relation to, I just gave you a nice little narrative storytelling, the best capacity of channeling I have at the end of labor. Right, so you've received the frequencies, the codes without me needing to do a direct channel because I don't have the bandwidth like most of you. So instead, we're going to look at some of the warnings that are required for you in these moments. So there is an acknowledgement around the finalization of crystalline heart frequencies. So the final threads of weaving and stabilizing the heart octave that you've been working on. And what's needed to thread those light threads through the heart. Now, the challenge is that the heart chakra requires us to choose beyond what has kept us safe before, choose beyond what has kept us in a level of conviction before. The heart keeps you from placing yourself in a vulnerable situation where you might fail, right? So the heart has some pretty strong protection mechanisms, and your final heart energy will be recognizing something that used to work that no longer works, and you need to shed those last threads. So you are able to bring in that new frequency and finalize it and kind of like tie it in a bow. It's a pretty crystalline heart now. So if you require any support with that, please do reach out. In regards to what's happening in the sacral chakra as we move, because we've used so much Kundalini, because we've used so much Chi, because our hormones, for a lot of us, our reproductive system, there's more inflammation. You might have been struggling to work out. You might have put on weight. You might have been aware of joint pains and things. What's happening is a sacral chakra restructuring, but it's restructuring because it's so depleted. So this initiation specifically has used so much sacral energy. So much life force, so much chi, so much energy in the form of the seed and source energy through there, that the body is starting to get to a point where it's like, I don't know if I have any chi left. Qigong, I don't know how to Qigong. I want to lay on the floor, right? This is the awareness that's taking place, is your sacral chakra is depleted. Your sacral chakra is running out of its resources because it's been turned up for so long, right? Which is technically an imbalance of your chakra systems. It's not something that is maintainable or sustainable. That's where you end up with nervous system reactions. That's where you have adrenal fatigue. That's where you have cortisol challenges. That's where you end up having like hormonal changes, because your chi, your life force, has been pushing frequency so quickly, so much into different directions, and it's malnutrition. And so what you need to be aware of is that the final elements of what you've got in your chi, in that expression of your being, because you're going to need to have some form of rebuild after this, right? So your new life is, you're going to have a rebuild. You're going to feel fresh. You're going to feel new, and you're going to have to rebuild your chi in whatever way is shown. You're going to build your kundalini, but it won't be used in the same way that it's pushing you through a birthing canal, right? So you want to save what limited chi you have to get through this final 3 to 4, maximum 5-week stage. So this is out of the year of the snake into the fire horse, depending on where you are in the ripple, because we do have leaders, and then we have followers, and then we have the bridges and all the things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make you more or less conscious. It's just directions. And that you need to recognize, I don't have the chi to have this conversation. I don't have the chi to spend time on this activity. I don't have the chi to put into this experience. So you need to be really, really, really conscious on reserving your energy for what you actually need it for, so that when you get there, you've got enough energy for those final pushes. Not, I need to fucking sit down. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. Right? So that's really important to understand about your sacral chakra. So if you are really depleted, like me, then there is an invitation to start to sleep with Hertz frequencies that are charging your solar plexus. Doing things like Qigong or like Kundalini breath work and things like that, they help, but they also deplete. And that's the challenge. If you want to go into a point of surrender, you don't want to be doing any output at the same time if you're going to try and charge it up to get through this phase. You want to receive it when you're in still, quiet, sitting meditation, when you're sleeping. You want people that are charged. Now, if you've got people around you that perhaps didn't come on this, maybe they're not 144 or bringers of change, which is true. There's a lot of spiritual people. There's a lot of spiritual healers. There's a lot of amazing people that don't fall into this category, that won't be on this path, specifically, that might have a ton of energy that you can get body work from. Someone that can do some Reiki on your sacral chakra and be like, here, have a little bit of mine. I'll help you through. So that's another area of awareness in relation to this mission directive that we have. The next is the central column, or what you might call the DNA strand, the spinal column. So a lot of us have had psychic surgeries during this period. And we have had very intentional restructures to the physical body to hold more light, to hold more frequency, and to assist those around us. So, yay to the typical healer. You have once again sacrificed yourself for your teammates. So if you didn't put it in your spinal column, then you might be one of those that is receiving it, because perhaps you were, quote unquote, a little bit behind. And those that were in front have genetically modified their body, genetically modified their channel, genetically modified their system, and they're pumping through more frequency, more energy, more light to help their beloveds, to help their daughter, to help their mother, to help. Because what is the biggest wound of the 144? It is no one gets left behind, right? So because we have this hardwired into us, and because we don't want to let go, we tend to do what we can to assist those that are wanting to change, the ones that do want to move but maybe don't have the capacity, missed a few choice points, but they're like, please, I want to come, I will do whatever it takes. And you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get you over the line, but all right, I've got an idea. So that's the kind of thing that's taking place, is that because there's been more frequency, more light, more things to help others in the experience. And you might notice this, who's come in the last 12 to 18 months that wasn't in your life? There were probably someone that's either here to help you get over the line or that you're helping to get over the line. Who's new that you're suddenly spending a lot of time with. You're either receiving a lot from them energetically or consciously, and there is an exchange, always a reciprocity. And so there is an agreement that takes place, or some people might see it as a contract, that you go, I'm going to help you do this, you help me do that, we're going to get there, let's go. What that means is that the person that has genetically modified, you're going to start to go through those psychic surgeries again to unmodify yourself, which means that you might need more downtime, because the physical human being does not know how to stay in a waking state while the genetic modifications are taking place, which means you can get knocked out for sometimes days. It could be the afternoon. You have a constant surgery scheduled at 3 p.m. For 90 minutes. So just being aware that if you are one of those people that you know that you genetically modified yourself in the last 18 months to assist this mission, that you're aware of the fact that you've got to go through the reverse procedure to come back to yourself. And that's going to require a little bit more time, downtime. Right? Just like anything you would have seen, we talk about psychic surgeries. There is a YouTube video if you understand a little bit more about it. You can Google in my channel psychic surgeries and you'll find it. It explains everything. Very helpful. You required a lot of downtime when they were put in. So you'll be able to get a reference point to be able to assist you and help you with this. So that's one of the other awarenesses. Now, if you were the receiver of someone who's genetically modified themselves, this is going to bring a bit of a shock and a bit of a disruption and a bit of awareness, because what happens is you've been held up. You've been, from a frequency standpoint, from a light standpoint, it's like, here, I'm going to give you this, give you this, give you this until you can hold it yourself. And then I have to step away. Now, what happens, and this happens in my mystery schools all the time, is as a mentor, it's like, yes, I'm here to support you. Yes, I can answer your questions. Yes, I can validate. And then there's an initiation that comes where the student has to become so trusting of their own channel, of their own intuitive guidance, of their own God connection. They can do it consciously, but there are quite a few that do it unconsciously. And what happens is they need support. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm sorry, I can't help you with this one. You need to go and sit with God. And what happens is they feel abandoned. They feel rejected. They feel like you're no longer there to help them in their hour of need, right? But it's a initiation by fire. So that's another thing that's been coming up a lot. What's your initiation by fire? What is it that you're moving through this initiation by fire to actually gain the strength, the conviction, the stability of where you're going for this next phase? So what will happen for those that have received frequency and energy is they're going to feel flatter. They're going to feel less inspired. They're going to feel a little bit more depressed. They're going to feel like they don't have the same momentum charge. And that's because they need to come into finding internally what that spark, that frequency, that light was that was holding them up. So it will be a recognition of what is it that would make me continue to choose God? What is it that would make me to continue to choose to move through my blocks, right? So the greater zoomed out lens that is beyond the me, it's like seeing the fullness of the why for the whole, and then also acknowledging, what do I need to be that? Why is it that I am special? Specialness is very important. You are in this because you are special, but you're special because you chose to be special. You're a chosen one because you chose. You're gifted because you decided to create and cultivate your gifts, right? So we can all be and do this. And one other awareness and warning through this period of time is that my spine would like to go into surgery. No, I mean, it would. Like, it's like a little dog that's running out of chi. I don't want to keep running, but I want to keep chasing the ball. So the final element of this is, the last warning is around your cognition capacity. So what you are watching me do right now, right? Your brain is going to be at a point where it is struggling with what's happening through the environment, and it's going to have very minimal receiving. So for those of you that normally get channels, lots of information, lots of vision, maybe you are very intellectual, maybe you read a lot of books, maybe you research a lot, there's going to be an awareness that your brain actually can't do that right now. And it can't, it doesn't have the same input ability. So the challenge is you have a little bit more output, but you can't digest or receive the same inwardly, which can create some confusion in conversations. It can create some missing information and threads, because you're communicating fairly good on the outward, but you're not receiving the same in reciprocal nature on the inward, because your brain is going through a point where it's going, we can't receive any more information. Sorry, but we're in focus, shutdown, internal transformation, rebirth, all of the things. And so please give yourself some kindness and be aware, if you're journeying this with others that are highly advanced beings, share this information in the form of, oh, it's because your brain right now is actually not able to receive any more information. We've got to work and digest. So if we're planning to do something, how do we make sure that we've shared all the plans to each other? Do we need a checklist? Do we need to repeat it back to each other? What do we need to do to make sure that we're not missing vital information, right? I wasted a couple of hours yesterday talking about something because there was one missing sentence that changed the entire thing that we were processing, because we were seeing it from completely different lenses. And it wasn't that the sentence wasn't said, it was said, but it wasn't clear. And because it wasn't clear, it wasn't received very well because of the limited ability to receive information. So if you're communicating important things, dot point them very clearly. If you are needing something, then make sure you're very clear about what you need, what you're asking for. Get on the output, get really, really concise, because the input is struggling. So limited words of, I need this from you, not, oh, I'm going to do this afternoon, and what I'd really like is, because this will make me feel good, and not going to work right now. Like clean, clear, direct. So if you're a feminine channel, then it's time to really get clear and direct with your masculine ability to say what you mean. All right, my loves. So in closing, it's gonna be hard. But in saying that, if you recognize it's going to be hard, if you recognize you're out of energy, if you know the tank's almost empty, if you know you're almost at the peak of the mountain, guess what? Makes it easier. because you're not denying to yourself. You're not questioning. You're not adding those things. You're going, I've got limited energy. I need to put it here, here, here. It's almost over. We've got this. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. And I promise, and I don't make promises lightly. If you've ever been in any of my training schools, you will know this. I'm like, don't you make promises unless you can be sure, right? So I promise that if you just keep going, that you will get to the peak of the mountain, that you will see the clearing, and that it's really not that far away, and you are in the crowning. So trust, listen, and I'm going to go and have a nap. Until next time, my loves, please like, subscribe. If you would like any support, you can follow my links. Mystery School for Women in May, as well as the New Earthers Purpose Building. But I can understand, why would you want to build purpose when you've got no energy in the tank? I get it. But when you do have that energy, come join us. All right, my loves. Adonai.